Welcome to my top 10 tips for hard gainers. Tip number 1, meal planning. Make sure that you plan your meals each day so you don't get surprised by different activities during the day. Make sure that you have planned your meals concerning training, job, other recreational activities, and so on. For example, you have to plan how many meals you're going to eat, what you're going to eat to those meals, and when you're going to eat them. That is all part of meal planning. I used to tell my clients that training is a few hours per week, but nutrition is basically a full-time job. So be sure to create a structure for your days, plan your meals, and don't opt for suboptimal solutions. Tip number 2, reduce your fiber intake. For those people struggling with gaining weight and maybe they eat a bit too healthy and a bit too fiber-rich foods, that will increase your fullness. You will stay more satiated when you're eating more fiber. So if you eat a lot of wholemeal bread or wholemeal pasta, whole grains, etc., try to switch it out for some less fiber-rich foods, so you will get less full and less satiated. This will help you increase your volume of the food you can eat, and that will also most likely increase the caloric intent of your diet. Number 3, eat more fat. As we've talked about in this course, 1 gram of fat equals 9 kilocalories. That is over the double of the kilocalories you get from proteins and carbohydrates. So it makes sense if you're struggling with gaining weight, you should switch out with more fat in your diet to make sure you can up your caloric content. So for instance, you can supplement with nuts, avocados, oils, fatty fish, etc. Choosing healthy fat sources also brings more vitamins and essential fatty acids to your diet. Tip number 4, reduce your protein intake if it's high in your diet already. As we talked about earlier, eating more proteins will keep your satiety up and make you feel more full. So if you are at about 2 grams of protein per kilo body weight per day, maybe try to lower the protein intake to about 1.6 grams per day. That is the lower threshold of the recommended range. Then you get more room to eat more carbohydrates or more fat, and you feel less full, so it's easier to gain weight. Tip number 5, shorten your training duration. I see a lot of people, they go to the gym and they train like 2 or 3 hours each day or every other day. That's basically a very long training session, and if you can reduce the amount of time you train, you get more time to eat basically. And for most people, it's not necessary to be in the gym several hours per session. For most people, you can actually get the maximum benefit in about an hour of effective training. Some strategies you might want to try to reduce your training session duration is doing more giant sets, you can do more supersets, you can do antagonist-agonist training, and you can try to reduce your rest times if they're quite high during the training. Tip number 6, drink more calories. When you eat a meal and you're not quite full, you can always eat more, but on top of that, you can actually add more liquid calories. I wouldn't recommend drinking the liquid calories before you eat the meal. Just eat till you are actually full and then supplement with some liquid calories. Examples of good sources of liquid calories can be milk, juice, smoothies, and so on. Tip number 7, increase your meal frequency. That basically means eat more meals throughout the day. If you're already eating like 3 or 4 meals per day, try to aim for 1 more meal per day, like 4 to 5 meals per day or 5 to 6 meals per day. If you're not too hungry and you already eat like 4 solid meals per day, try to add more snack meals per day. For instance, this can be a recovery meal post-workout. It can be an easy snack meal during the day. It can be nuts between big meals and other snack meals that aren't so satiating but brings a lot of calories. Tip number 8, eat a solid pre-bed meal. By that I mean don't go to bed hungry. That's one of the most important factors when you're trying to gain weight. Make sure that this meal actually has a lot of protein because you're gonna fast for several hours during your sleep period. And it also has carbohydrates, essential fatty acids, and a lot of vitamins and minerals. So make sure that the pre-bed meal is a complete meal and that it fills you well. Regarding the protein source, you can also try to look for a casein protein source, and that is a protein source mainly coming from milk and milk products. Tip number 9, a nighttime gainer. You maybe wonder what a nighttime gainer is, and I've actually used it for a lot of my clients. At least those clients that really struggle with gaining weight when you already used the tips I've already mentioned. So a nighttime gainer is basically something that you can consume during your sleeping period. Actually, not while you're sleeping, of course, but when you wake, go to the bathroom, or you have an alarm set or whatever, you wake up and consume your nighttime gainer. I would recommend that this gainer is something liquid. It doesn't take a long time to consume. It has a lot of calories and also, of course, has some protein in it. Examples of this can be like an oatmeal shake with some milk. It can be a smoothie based on yogurt or other similar drinks. And the final tip, tip number 10, eat till you're full. So I have a lot of people trying to gain weight and they have basically just planned all their meals and they've planned what they're supposed to eat and they've done their calculations and estimated how much they're gonna eat, but basically it's not enough. So you have to eat more. So always eat till you're full and don't go hungry.